welcome to Behind the Permits with your girl Paulette Ahmad, the Philadelphia Permit Plug. Thank you so much. Listen, my guest today, he doesn't even need to be introduced, but I'm going to introduce you for those who know him and those who may not. It's my guy, my friend, fellow investor, property manager, one of the biggest property managers in the city of Philadelphia that I know, Mr. Lorenzo Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Let me tell you, Lorenzo, number one, I got to tell you how much I respect you. We've known each other for a few years now. The time just kind of go by. You know, one of the things across the board, even when I hear about you, is always people light up, people smile. You know, when they talk about you, when they hear about you, or even when they meet you and they come across, they go, you know, that's a good dude, that's a good brother. You know, so they like that. Your name really rails in a good way. You're always knowledgeable and giving people advice, quick to give people information, you know, selflessly, you know, and you do it with so much integrity. You know, so and then you're always willing to do the work, and then you support a lot of people. So you really, and as an investor, dad, everything. Like, I don't know how you do it besides being up late at nights like me. Sometimes, you know, we have our times. But so thank you for being an all around, you know, great guy, investor, and everything. So could you let's first start by introducing to everybody who you are. You can talk in that camera right there.
Good day, everyone. It's Lorenzo Jackson, the owner of Jackson Rental Homes, a full-service property management company here in Philadelphia and surrounding counties. That's me.
All right. Okay. All right. So he's more, but anyway.
You want me to go? I can go all in. Yes.
Yes.
Property manager,
there you go.
Investor, lead testing, father, husband, and I'm big on the community, speaking to the kids, especially the young men, to help them reach the age of 21, 30, and be able to migrate through the different mazes that's here set up as black men. So I like to do that as well on my spare time too.
Yes, yes. I had to put a little more on it because my guy he does so much. I wanted to make sure that he highlight that, as well as a property manager, but also owning at least 80 of his own units.
We got a good amount, a couple
$1
million.
Good amount. So we it's a heavy hitter right here, but humble. Okay, he's humble. But listen, let me ask you, we're behind the permits. You know, all the crazy stuff about dealing with L&I, dealing with inspections, dealing with contractors. And you know you got a rule on contractors. I'm going to ask you about your rule, you know, on contractors and how you decide whether you're going to keep them on or let them go.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I know that just by being around you, you know. So I guess right now we want to know, what is some of the projects? Do you have anyone that you could probably pick up that you had a problem with, whether it's stop work or a make safe?
Well, one of the biggest projects I have right now is a make safe. I had to do a make safe. It was a fire unit. And I've learned dealing with you that make safe is something I'm going to have to stay away from. I'm about 6 months in, and I'm just waiting on getting my actual building permit. So we got the make safe lifted, then we have to come by and get the actual permit. And my hard money loan, most of the time, is only a year. So by the time I actually can get started, I'm 6 months in and I'm already sort of behind the 8 ball. I've tried my best to put it in my cost, but it just doesn't seem to work. And I try to migrate through the city, but the make safes are a big issue, and a stop work order will really I had a few of those, and that just sort of stops me in my tracks, like boom, it stops everything.
It stops everything. So one of the things that people don't realize is that make safe, unsafe, which is that big orange sticker, is different than a stop work order. Okay. So, but let's just go ahead and get started now. Yes, stop work order.
Yes.
How long did it set you back? What did it teach you?
Well, what I learned is, are we going to be transparent? We can talk like honestly.
Oh yeah.
All right, so what I've learned to do is I'm going to do a project without pulling permits. I will still get my architectural drawings.
Okay.
Because before I got a stop work order, then it took me a month to get the drawings, and then a month to get everything together. But with my drawings, as soon as I get stopped, I just go down there and submit everything the right way.
So you're being proactive.
Yes.
How about that?
So just in case.
Just in case. But most of your projects you hold anyway, right?
I do hold on all of them.
You hold them. And that really does make a difference. You know, when you hold the property, because, you know, versus when you hold the project versus flipping it. Because if
Right.
you had to flip it, the permits would kind of come into play, and you have to go through with it because they had to be completed and closed out.
That's correct.
You know, because some of the projects are online. If you look at Florida.gov, it'll say that it's structurally compromised, and you're like, no, it's not. It's newly renovated.
Right.
You know, so it can have some telltale signs. But most of your properties are just buy and hold, right?
Yeah, I'm primarily a buy and hold, and I realized as everybody started to get savvy, they started to ask for the permits when you start to sell a house. They said,
Yes.
let me see these permits, or else I'm going to reduce the price, or I'm not going to buy the house at all. So you started to see
Right.
that adjustment on the agent side as well.
Well, I know on our side, well, as far as investors are concerned, some of our investors call me up when they know they're getting ready to go to settlement in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they go, Paulette, I need you to, you know, but they take the architect through the project when they look at it to buy.
Right.
So the architect will already have what they need, you know, to be working on the plan. So by the time you go to settlement, I'm giving the plans and I'm already submitting by the time you at settlement.
Right.
So yeah, it can kind of, especially if you have to pour plans, if you're flipping the property.
Yes.
You know, so let me ask you this: what is your rule? What are your rules from being around you that I know about contractors? Like, what would you how would you share this thing about contractors when you're hiring them? What is the rule of how many times they mess up? When to replace a contractor? You know, that kind of thing.
Well, I like to use, I don't call it street smarts, but we like honesty first off. And when I pay you, I'm not going to pay you until you start working. So some contractors really want to get paid. I'm like, look, I can't pay you until you start working, and then I need to make sure that you are licensed.
Right.
Because if we do get in the jam, I need you to be able to pull your permit, especially the mechanical guys, the plumbers, electrician, and the HVAC guys. But my biggest rule is I like to do multiple projects at a time. So I need to see a team. Can you handle working on 2 or 3 projects at a time? If you cannot, then I cannot work with you. You know.
Right.
Because if you got a team, a lot of times that shows that you have some sort of structure, and I know that you'll be able to come back. And when it's time to fire, I do a 3-strike rule.
Do you stick to it?
I do stick to it because I have other people already waiting to jump in. And after you make your 2nd strike, I'm already dating and I'm looking in who's going to replace you. And sometimes my biggest rule is that no contractor is bigger than a project.
Right.
So I will take a loss by firing you to keep the project going. I can't get behind 2 or 3 months because you got the flu and you got locked up or whatever happened to you. You're not bigger than the project. And I'm not bigger than the project either. I fired myself multiple times on projects and hired a GC to come in and finish up because I wasn't doing the right job.
You said you would fire yourself.
I would fire myself. So if I'm going to fire myself, I'm gonna fire you too.
That's some boss stuff for real.
Yeah.
That's some boss stuff for real. Oh my God, that is so important when to make those kind of decisions. It's not easy because believe it or not, it's not a lot of decent contractors waiting around. So the fact that you can even have a waiting list is amazing to me.
Right. Because we pay on time. So I think that's the biggest thing. We pay on time. And when we're negotiating, I'm not going to hit you too hard on your price.
Right.
So I think similar to you, sometimes we get busy.
Yeah.
And you know when you can take on a project and when you can't.
True.
And just having that honest assessment of yourself, like, you know what, I can't do this right now.
Right.
I can't.
Right.
So and that helps though.
I can't take this on. This is too much. You know. Let me ask you, do you believe in project managers? Or do you, as a GC yourself, because you're also licensed, do you in turn become your own project manager while you have your multiple projects going on with your contractors?
I think a project manager, if you're going to continually build, is going to help you really blow your business up. It's going to help you scale up so fast.
Yeah.
Because now you're not doing some of the minor activities. You have somebody to help you. If you're going to work on more than, really my limit is like 3 projects. After 3 projects, I got to stop. Or you should have that project manager in place and they could take on another 2 or 3 and you should really be growing it if this is something you're going to do for a long time.
Right.
That's going to help you scale up because now you can't scale up, you can't do everything by yourself.
No, you have to have a team. There's no way you're going to grow without a team. I mean, please tell me the secret sauce because I know I cannot grow without a Bria. And it just can't be. I can't. No. I'm not a octopus or anything like that. So, how important do you think having a mentor is?
Having a mentor is key. So I look at you as a mentor, because well, you are. You're the mentor guiding us through everything that happens with the city. I've seen so many investors down there look lost, get stuck, and I was one of them until I said, you know what, you got Paulette got her stuff together. Whatever the price is, I don't even just send me the invoice, and I make sure you get paid.
Right.
But you as a mentor guiding us through on a property management side, renter's license, COs, make safe, and all these different permits, closing them out. It's a lot that goes on, and I've seen so many people just get stuck in paperwork. And like I said, I was one of them. There was a whole year where all my projects got shut down. I didn't have any permits, and you constantly just paying hard money loans. And it's like you go to your project, you see the sticker on this door, you got stuck over here, and nothing's getting done.
All right.
Nothing at all. He's like, you know what, I gotta find out. I was like, all right, well, you need, you need your insurance. It's the smallest things. Every time I go down there, I leave, I feel defeated though. Most of the time.
Oh, really?
Most of the time, yeah. If I go there on my own.
When I come in, how do you feel if you see me?
Oh, I think what was it, last week, right? I was like, oh, thank you, God. Because he was looking at me like, sir, I'm not going to help you. And then you walked up and said, no, I got, Then after you stepped in, you said, I know him, I'm his expediter. And then you left, and she started to work with me. She finished it off. I had the permit the next day.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you. I was waiting for this permit for 6 weeks. And I'm like, wow. So that's the power of having you or a mentor on your team, because that could have went another 3 weeks.
It could have. She's like, oh, he's always having a problem. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know he is, but I got him. And when it came to it, they released it. We got the permit, and we went down there and picked it up, because you don't even have to pick up your own permit with us.
No.
Yep.
Yeah,
we went down there and picked it up from the city for you and that kind of thing. I'm like, what do you mean? You know, so yeah, that's all relationships.
So that's why I think having a mentor, especially when it comes to dealing with the city, dealing with eclipse, if I could be real specific, it just helps, because you're trying to navigate, you keep getting these error messages, and the error messages are bright red, red too, and you can't do anything after that. Nothing's happening on your projects. Your hard money lender does not want to hear about it.
Don't want to hear about it.
The courts don't want to hear about that you can't get your renter's license.
Nope.
So, and the only person that's going to pay is going to be you.
Yeah.
So that's why having a mentor, especially you, is so important. And we can go on to any other areas, but dealing with this, if you're going to do construction, property management, anything dealing with that municipal building, you got to have somebody to help hold your hand and guide you through it.
Yeah, I think you have as a mentor, you have to have somebody to navigate you through this whole process. People make it look easy online. You got to have thick skin. You got to have you got to have like the what they call that, the face that they don't think they can take advantage of you. It's so many different variations to it, because everybody's trying to figure each other out, especially when it comes to dealing with a contractor, how many years they have experience. But I have not yet met a person that said to a contractor, let me see your license and let me see some of your projects.
Right.
Those are questions they don't ask. They literally believe whatever the contractor tells them. And for the life of me as an expediter, I can't understand it.
No, you ever seen somebody I've seen people show me my projects. I'm like, bro, you didn't do this. I did this.
No, are you serious?
I'm like, I did this. This is my house.
No.
And they're like, oh. I'm like, all right, yeah. So,
no.
Yes. And I love.
That's crazy.
Yeah, pull up on the contractors as you're shopping them. Like, where you working at? Let me drop off your check at a random place. Like, you over here? All right, cool. Let me meet you at this project and walk through, ask some questions.
Walk through and ask some questions. But I found that I have a client who actually fines. He fines his contractors first before he let them go. Like, he will find you and fine you for not finishing something in time or in time frame. He will deduct like $500 or $200 or something, because they were supposed to have it done, and if it was a fault to theirs, then he deducted.
I tried that, but as soon as I deduct the first time, they ain't never come back. They're like, all right, I'm done. It was
I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I ain't coming back.
No, he actually did that. So they actually like, oh, I don't want to get fined. And this is in his contracts right now. He's like, I don't want to get fined, because he's like, no, this wasn't on you, because, but the other day that was on you. And I'm like, if you got a contractor, he fines them.
Love that.
So
man.
that would, yeah. So I tell you, all right, so listen, on all your social media handles, how can anyone contact you on your social media handles?
I got one handle, that is Jackson Rental Homes. That's on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok.
Yeah. TikTok. I don't have a TikTok. I don't have a TikTok.
Y'all can turn up into here with
What
your TikTok.
the heck? I'm behind the scene. I don't even have a Twitter. I don't have that yet either.
Oh no, you would kill it.
Yeah. I gotta see. I have some more gems. It's not new to you guys, but new to me. I'm so busy working. I don't be thinking about nothing else. Work it in the podcast, of course.
I love this podcast.
So,
This is nice.
So listen, I got a question for you,
Yes.
Lorenzo. So we talked about the contractors.
Yes.
We talked about your stop work orders.
Yes.
But I don't think we ever talked about fully exactly. It set you back months.
Yeah.
But was it worth it in the end? Because I know you usually hold the properties, right?
Yes.
So when and I guess there was the Burr method, right?
Yes.
Okay, the Burr
Yeah,
method.
you got it.
There you go. See, I listen sometimes. With Dan, I listen sometimes. So with the Burr method, number one, do you like that method?
I used to, but now with
Okay.
the interest rates being a lot higher, it's not a strategy that I could recommend for everybody to actually make a profit off of, unless you're on a larger scale with a really, really large project, and it can cash flow a lot more money. But with interest rates going over 7%, 8%, it's killing a lot of people's cash flow.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
I can't even freaking imagine that. So with that being said, when you deal with a permit, you're even more proactive now, because you have to deal with like hard money and that kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Has it ever set you back to the point where it cost you $20,000 in holding costs before you can even start the project, or because held up with permits?
So we got two scenarios. One, during 2020, by me getting shut down, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Because
Okay.
those 6 months, you know what happened during those 6 months?
No, I knew what happened to me in my business.
I'm gonna tell you what happened to me
But
too.
what
Yeah,
happened
they
to
shut
you?
everything down and the prices went through the roof. So the
Oh,
actual
yes.
appraisal prices went up. So let's say if I would have finished typically in March, by me finishing 6 months later in September, now the property is valued $50, $60, $80,000 more than it was
I
prior
forgot
to.
it became a seller's
It
market.
became a seller's market. So
Yes.
I was able to tap in to that equity, and it was a blessing. Right now, where the prices are going down, it can really hurt. So as of today, I had a sprinkler situation where it took 5 months for the sprinkler company to come out. So during that
Wow.
5 months, my interest payments is $3,000 a month.
Sheesh, so that's for one building.
That's just for one building. So you're looking
Dang.
at $15,000 just because I had to do it
4
that
months.
way. It was 5. And
5 months.
And if you don't remember, we was going back and forth, and I'm praying like, please
That
tell
you
me.
didn't need sprinklers.
I was like, please tell me I had to get
Why,
sprinkled.
though?
Let me get a grandfather, anything. It was like, no,
Yeah.
it's 4 stories. You change it from 3 to 4 units. You got to get a
That's
sprinkler.
true, because it was a recent, yeah.
$15,000. They just finished up 2 weeks ago.
You gotta be kidding me. Setback for 5 months,
Yes.
right? Paying $3,000 a month.
Yes.
And how much did the sprinklers cost?
The sprinklers cost $20,000.
Shoo.
So now you're looking at it, and these are the costs that you don't really
And that's actually a
analyze.
good price. That's actually a good price
Pretty decent.
for a quad. That's a good, it's a 4 or 5 unit.
It's 4 units.
Yeah, that's actually a good price.
So that's $35,000 just on sprinklers. And if you would have, I could have did it dirty without pulling permits. I probably would have got shut down. But I was at this time, I would have been done the house, and I would have saved myself $35,000.
But you still gotta finish the construction
I
we
still
had.
got to finish it. Yes.
Dang!
So I don't
my
even really know what the
gosh.
final number is going to be.
Yes.
I don't know what the final appraisal is going to be.
Right.
Interest rates are double what they are now from when I started. So I'm still going to cash flow something that's going to work out. However, it's a completely different project than it was now than it was when I started.
But that's still a hold though.
It's still a hole. I'm not going to let go of it.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I wouldn't want to let go of it after spending that much money anyway.
I done
And
spent
then
all-
the $3,000 a month still got to come out. So did you have to get an extension?
Did I? Yes, I did. So my extension, I bought it in December, so I had to get an extension. It's expired November 30th. So yes,
Wow.
I got a 6-month extension, so I got to finish up now. But I should be able to done by May.
By May. Wow.
So that another $3,000. So you're looking at another $15,000.
Time from now up until May. Next year, that's deep.
it's a lot. So it can hurt. But that's why pulling permits is tricky because you can go either way. I do know some
Right.
people that will rehab a 4-unit building, not pull permits, but I sleep well at night.
That's true.
If something happens in that building,
You know for sure that the sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems, everything was done according to code.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You get your proper certificate of occupancy and all of that, and your renter's licenses, and that's a good that's good business. That makes Jackson Homes a place to live in because
You know it's right. But then how much is that
right.
peace of mind going to really cost you? Is it worth $35,000? To me, yeah, it is.
Yeah, and it's not worth a life, especially with how properties is moving today with not being, all the way done up correctly and
Right.
faulty wiring and falling down and that kind of thing. It makes a lot of sense.
That's right.
But that is wow, that's the real talk right there. Because the carrying cost sometimes is so high that it almost equal construction sometimes.
Yeah, these are some things that you won't necessarily see on Instagram. Investors that hide it. They don't want to tell you how many you have to come off as being real intelligent. They don't want to share their losses. I don't mind sharing my losses because this is a part of the game.
Yeah, well, you always have to have a contingency. I mean, even when you're doing what they call it, OPM, other people's money, it don't mean you don't have to have your own money. You still have to have your own money. You just didn't have to use as much as your own money to get into the deal.
Right.
But your own money becomes now that contingency.
That's right.
So if you have to pull from that, or now you got to use that business credit to go get a line of credit for another fallback contingency, just to handle those kind of things, or you use that money to help pay the money per month, the interest, payments, until you start being able to pull your drawers off of that.
Right, and the danger zone would be if you don't have that money, and now you're really stuck. Now you just have a house that's depreciating in value, interest rates going up, and you got a new sprinkler. You got a lot going on, and that's how you can enter into a real danger zone. And I've seen some people enter into that where they can't get rid of the house. They're just stuck.
Well, I have a few clients that now there are some hard money companies requiring you to have a building permit before they even lend you money.
Right.
Okay. So I have a situation now where I have a client that stepped into a project, already in the project, and did the whole up until framing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he just found out, oh, by the way, we need you to have an electrical and a plumbing permit.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, why didn't you tell me this when you gave me the money?
And then you spent your money, and they won't give you your draw because
so now they won't give him his draw because he has to do electrical and plumbing. But now they come to me and I have to tell you, well, I'm sorry, you can't get an electrical or plumbing permit without a building permit. And you're like, what? I need that to get this. I say yes. And by the way, you're a duplex, so you need plans.
Yes.
It's like, why would I need plans? Is it just a duplex? You need plans. I'm sorry. So not only you need plans for that, but you need plans for the plumbing, you need plans for electrical, you need plans for HVAC. So now it just blew them out the water.
Yes.
And I feel so bad because I have to be the bearer of that bad news, but I feel like this is something that should have been said.
Right.
In the beginning, not when you finish the frame and now you're asking for the draw and you refuse to give the money, but now they got to spit out another $2,700, here, and that's just for permits, and you're not even talking about paying for the architectural.
Right.
plans.
That's it. And if Jane is away, then now you're paying $3,500, $4,000 for.
Yeah. Well, she's back. I don't know what she charges now because prices went up. So I don't know how much she charges.
And it happened to me too, though, on that same exact building. When I went to get my
Mm-hmm.
first draw, they said, "Well, let me see your permits, let me see all this." And if I didn't have it, then I would have been stuck too.
Yeah. See?
So it helps to, like I say, the peace of mind of doing things the right way. It's like, oh, look, it's not a problem. Let me call Paulette. If I don't have it, here go your email.
Yeah.
You get your money wired to you that, either that day or the next day. Like, not a problem. I got all my permits. It's fine.
Yeah, but sometimes, actually, a rule of thumb is when you're dealing with OPM, and hard money lenders, I don't care who they are, what they are, ask them up front yourself, do you require permits?
Right.
To be pulled before a draw? Do you require permits? Find that out. Yeah. So maybe if they don't tell you afterwards, you could be proactive, because there is something that could have got easy permit done on it, and then you pull your easy mechanicals, so they're sweet on that. But ask those questions first, you know what I mean? So, and then you know exactly what you're doing. And even ask those questions when it comes to like doing a multi-level. I ran into a situation like that too with hard money, where a client turned around and they brought it through hard money as a multi to find out that they couldn't get permits in a multi because they really wasn't zoned. Ooh. They went based on what the building was being used as. Oh. So I'm like, you're not. They never had a renter's license. They never had. So it was stuck.
I know they wanted to get that property right back.
It was stuck. Let me tell you how easy that was. Let me tell you how I got over that one. Let me tell you. Years ago, I found a clause for the bathroom. They don't do the grandfather clause anymore. Okay. So I found a clause where it used to be a multi. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do the continuing use letter at that time. before they changed the grandfather laws and get it grandfathered in. And I was able to get him this permit as a use, as a multi-unit for a duplex. And then he was able to back into it and do the permit. But they got rid of that. Now there's grandfather clause is out.
Completely.
Now, completely. You now have to do an affidavit. And the affidavit has to come with renters, previous renters within so many years, and you also have to have a most likely a CO.
Okay.
They're looking for a CO. And permits don't do it anymore. You got to go to licensing.
Oh,
and you know how it is with licensing.
No. You're gonna be down there looking crazy trying to figure it out.
You already know. Now, am I lying? Is the permit side better than the license side?
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. I rest my case. It is. Because to deal with the license side is an experience. To deal with the permits, you get more information. You can see the work they're doing.
Right.
Over in licensing, it's like, okay, well, you gotta. It's like nothing. It's literally.
Man, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about none of them because I gotta go down there.
It's just different.
Yeah.
I love my people because I got my people over there on both. I got my people on both sides, but it's just different. They're doing different things, but now they hold power.
They do. So you better get your Christmas gifts ready.
Power. Get your Christmas gift ready. I gotta make sure I get my gifts ready. So is there? Okay, we already told them about all your social media handles. Is there any questions that you would? We already talked about the importance of mentorship and all your experiences with having stop work orders and dealing with sprinkler systems. How important it is to be proactive. You know, it could cost you a fret to be proactive, but it'll cost you less than the mistakes that you would make. They'll cost you even way more money down the line. You know, so what I'm going to do right now, guys, I'm going to stop right here and thank our guest, Mr. Jackson Holmes himself, Lorenzo Jackson, for coming out to spend time with us today, because I know he has a busy schedule. His phone's been going off like crazy. So I'm going to let him answer them phone calls and deal with his big staff of what they got to do today, running this whole Jackson Home process. And look forward to talking to you guys again on the next episode, Behind the Permits with Paulette and Maud. Peace.
Peace.